You down with LCS? You down with LCS? You down with LCS? Who's down with LCS? You down with LCS? You down with LCS? You down with LCS? Who down with LCS?
Morning. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining me. See a bunch of people in the chat already. Chop, good morning. Neil, Eternals Budget Comics, good morning. Remy Q, how's it going? Jimmy G, I hope you got to see that opening for you. Start your Saturday off right. Phil, thanks for coming in. Matt Woods, good morning. Matt, where you been? I haven't seen any content on your channel in about a month. Ignacio. You filling holes this morning, Ignacio? Is that what's going on? So good morning, guys. Thanks for everybody for stopping in this morning. I appreciate it. I wanted to shout out Louis, Freaky Louis. He did that song in the intro, and I've been using it. And I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I thanked him, but I want to just thank him again for that original song. It helped me, create a great intro. So it was. It's a great song, so I appreciate Freaky Louie. And if you guys don't know his channel, definitely go check out his channel. So, morning, Mr. Vaughn. So, I'm just checking in with the chat here, see what's going on. Yeah, I got to go back and see that, Phil. I saw that you posted that you were on Reggie's channel. But I hadn't had a chance to go and watch that video. I think it was Wednesday night's live stream. So I got to go back and check that out. It's always, I was on Reggie's channel last year. So it's kind of the big time, right? You got a lot of eyeballs on you when you're on one of those bigger channels. So very cool. So yeah, just catching up with the chat. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yep. Coaching a high school team will definitely suck up your time. Yeah, I was, poking around and I'm like, well, let me go check. I went to your channel because I hadn't seen any notifications recently, and it's been a while. So, but yeah, I understand, life, personal things, YouTube for most of us is just a hobby. So totally understand that. Yeah, I gotta go check. I gotta check that your Phil. I gotta check out your morning call. Happy Saturday. Just checking in with the chat. So hey, I wanted to like I said, I was thanking Freaky Louie for that song for the intro. So if you guys don't know, definitely go check out Louie's channel. But I also wanted to mention that this Monday I am doing my 500 subscriber giveaway. Live stream Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. There's a link down below if you haven't entered. So there's some specific instructions on how to enter. I'm giving away a bunch of prizes. I've got two 9/8 slabs, the three Jokers, Batman 3 Jokers. So I'm giving away that one. And I'm giving away this one. Some of the variant covers from, this is issue number 1. And I also have some mystery boxes, a DC, a Marvel. And I'll actually do some giveaways for the live chat as well. We'll do some hashtags to be able to give away some books. So definitely, if you haven't entered and want to enter, please go check it out. I'm trying to spread the word about the Comic Book Community Awards. We're planning. I'll have information released next month for the 2022 awards, but I'm just trying to get the word out. So by having other channels mention it, or share it on Instagram, or share a post about it on Instagram can help. Okay, good. I gotta go check that video out. Yep, and I'll make enter you in for an entry for the giveaways. So yeah, I'm just trying to spread the word. That was one of the comments or feedback from last year, that some people didn't know about the awards. So I'm trying to do as much as I can to spread the word so that every corner of our community is aware of it. So, we avoid people saying, well, I didn't know about it, I didn't have a chance to vote or nominate, things like that. So, yeah, Louis has such a great, he does. If you have not seen his live stream from last Saturday night, he does a Michael Jackson "Beat It" parody, which is amazing, and he does Billy Joel "We Didn't Start the Fire" video. So definitely need to go check that out. Yeah, I'm honestly very surprised that the channel has grown this quickly. I do appreciate everybody who spends the time to watch my video and who's subscribed. The one thing I think, obviously starting the comic book community awards, I think has kind of jump started the amount of subs. And I think the other thing too is I'm seeing a lot of channels that have recently started pick up some numbers quickly, and that's no disrespect to what they're doing. I think that's more of, we have a bigger community now, right? I think over the last 2 years, there's been an influx of channels. My channel started. I know there's a number of other channels that have started, fairly, recently over the last, I'd say 2 years. And so I think it's easier for you to pick up numbers, sub numbers, because the community is just growing. So that's a good thing. DJ Lynx last night had a 2K celebration. His channel's blown up to 2,000 subs in probably about less than 2 years. So DJ's knocking it out over there. So definitely, I'm excited to be at 500. I never knew, I didn't think my channel would grow that quickly. So I do appreciate it. Morning, Justin. How are you? Thanks for stopping in. Happy Saturday. Sleeping. Good morning. NFT. If you need some NFT news, go check out Sleeping's Comics channel. And his channel too has skyrocketed, just blown up because of, he kind of found his niche in the NFT side. Yeah, well, yeah, I think I'm doing some of the same things that other people are doing. So, I think it's about connection. Some of my favorite channels are less about the content that they're producing, but more about the person and the personality, getting to know that person a little bit. It's also, as a collector, it's great to see some books, slabs, or comic covers that maybe I don't have, that I haven't seen. So, but yeah, so we'll be doing that live stream on Monday. Do you still have an opportunity to get in on the contest? To win one of those prizes. But like I said, somebody pointed out. They said, "Hey, not everybody can enter because not everybody's a content creator or is on Instagram," and it was something I didn't really click with me. I didn't realize. So I'll definitely be doing some live chat, some hashtags, so people that maybe just join the chat that night will, I'll have some opportunities to win some prizes too. So it was a good point, something I just really hadn't considered when I put the giveaway together. But like I said, I really wanted to highlight the comic book community awards and try to, like I said, get the word out. So, people that maybe I'm not following or not aware of my channel or aware of the awards will be aware. So, yep, just catching up on the chat. Yep, Cole Comics claims he's putting out a challenge, kind of a monthly challenge, and I did the first one, top 10 covers in your collection. He's got a couples cover collection now challenge, where you can put together a list of 10 covers with couples on the cover. So I have to. That's a little tricky to say. A lot of C's there. I'm definitely want to do it. I just haven't pulled the covers yet. But immediately I thought of, Peter Parker, Mary Jane, Peter Parker, Black Cat. Parker's got a lot of ladies in his life, so that'll be good. Yeah, I think that's it, right? I think that's why, certain channels like Reggie, Reggie Collects, were fans of Reggie. Was one of the first channels that I had ever found on YouTube, and it's something about his personality that's kind of infectious. He just seems like and I haven't met him in person, but I've chatted with him and I've been on his channel. He just seems like a really nice guy. And, he hosts a garage con at his house. He invites community members to his home. So, I mean, I think, that shows you really what type of guy, in person he is. And I think that's what, a lot of us connect with is the personality. Obviously, we have a common interest, right? That's the niche community of comic book collecting. But I think it goes, a long way if you make that connection with that person. And that's why one of the, some of my favorite videos to watch are some of the interview shows. Gary B does one in the hot seat on Thursday nights. Um, Small Town Collectibles has a great interview series, and I like those interview series because you get to know a little bit more about the person. So that's so you can make that connection. And I've actually been kicking around the idea of starting an interview series as well. So I'm working on that now, and I'm going to be reaching out to some people to see if they'd like to come on. I'm going to try to do something a little bit different than what's been done before, but again, it's really would be to be able to get to know, the person behind the channel. So aggressively, good morning. Yeah, and it's interesting. And then there's other channels too that are very, that I don't believe have the sub numbers that they should, right? Because they produce really great content, they're good personality, but they just don't have the numbers for whatever reason. And it does take work, right? You got to share out on Instagram. When you're first starting, you have to do a lot of different things to help build momentum for your channel. So, yeah, Parker and I think that could be another series, right? Parker and his girls, right? He's got, for a guy who's getting kicked around in life, he always seems to have a lady hanging around. So it can't be that bad. MJ Comics, good morning. Thanks for stopping in. The People's Choice winner from last year, 2021 Comic Book Community Awards, Mr. MJ Comics. So, yeah, I really wanted to try to get to Reggie's show this year. It just didn't work out for me, just the timing of it and things like that. But um, yeah, I mean, I've he just seems like a really great guy, and I think that really goes a long way for his channel because people connect with that. The personality. Yeah, and that's the one thing I try to do. I try to sub and like other channels as much as I can. I think I have about 1,000 channels I'm subscribed to now. I mean, I'm finding new channels every day. So, um, yeah, and that's the problem. There is a lot of content. I'm struggling to keep up with all of the content because there is so many channels that I follow and so much good content. So much stuff I want to watch. The one thing, like I said, I like the interview shows. And the one thing I like about the interview shows is I can just listen to those in the background. I don't have to be staring at the screen. So I can do things, if I'm doing work around the house or whatever I'm doing, or, you know, organizing my comic book collection, I can um, kind of just listen into the interview. It's not so much visual where I want to, if somebody's showing a box unboxing, I want to see what they got. I want to see the covers. So that's the one thing I like about some of those interview shows is you can just, it's like a podcast, you can just listen to it. So, um, yeah, I mean, Instagram is a good couple, obviously to be able to communicate with people and to help spread the word on your channel. Good. Yeah, I appreciate it. I got a couple shout outs I want to do too. So, too, if anybody wants to jump in, I forgot to do that. Anybody wants to jump in, I'll drop the link if everybody's around this morning wants to jump in. Um, yeah, grow together. That's it. Definitely, I that's the one thing about the community, right? Between supporting one another and the generosity with AOKs and prize giveaways, things like that. There's definitely yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, I try to, the one thing I'm trying to do is if anybody watches my video and comments, then I try to go back to their channel and watch their video. That's just one thing as kind of a, thank you for coming to my channel to go do that for their channel. So, Yeah, I think I joined after that, like got my channel started because that's tough. Yeah, I'm always like if I'm in a chat and I see a name that I'm not familiar with, I'll try to search them on YouTube to go see if I can find them. Do they have a channel? Or are they, making content? So, yeah, I don't know why they would have gotten rid of that feature. So, yeah. Yeah, no, certainly the more consistent I think you are. I try to do videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so 3 days a week and then this live stream and then I'll try to jump in some other streams if I have the time. So, but yeah, it's the balance, right, of producing your own content, watching other people's content. It all takes up your time and so you need to, you need to find that balance. Brother John, good morning. And here's another Brother John Comics. He just started his channel just a couple weeks ago. So he's new. He's trying to figure it out. So definitely go check out his channel if you haven't. Um, yeah, it's that's the one rule I'm trying to follow very strictly, right? If somebody comes to my channel and comments, I'll go find their channel. I'll watch content on their channel and do the same. And then I'm looking at my subscription list and then trying to pick out other videos that interest me or that I can go watch. But yeah, the prize giveaway is tough because what's the best way to do it. I know there's a certain amount of people out there that just come for giveaways and things like that, which is part of it. But like on DJ Lynx's channel last night, 2,000 subscriber giveaway, he gave away a ton of great prizes. And there were a lot of community members that I was familiar with that had won. So it's good to see, the generosity being, kind of flow around the actual community. So it's good. Comic Bookworm, good morning. And he's got 100 sub giveaway coming up, a big show, I think March 5th. So definitely go check out his channel. You still have an opportunity to enter in on that. So, Brother John, yeah. John, if you drop your link, I can go find it and drop it, or I can drop it too. I gotta make some. I don't have any mods on the channel. I gotta make some blue wrenches on the channel. It's something I haven't done, so I'll have to go and do that. Yeah, Link's show was really great last night. So just catching up on the comments. But I did want to shout out. So the other thing I always try to do on my live streams is on this live stream is community shout outs, right? So I got a couple channels I wanted to mention this week, and actually a couple are in the chat. But the first one I want to mention is Angelo the Comic Guy, and now all the links are down below. Angelo actually is the nephew of Jerry the Jitterbug. And if you watch Angelo's content, you feel like you're listening to a younger Jerry. He has kind of the same similar voice. So there he is. So he hasn't been on
Hey,
videos, but here he is on my live stream.
how you doing there, Brian?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. I was still getting my stuff all set up, and all of a sudden, bam! I'm there on your channel. So.
Yeah, I saw you jump in. I clicked on you quick.
What's that?
I said I saw you jump in, so I clicked on you quick.
I appreciate it. I was excited to see your channel this morning. Your show, Breakfast with Brian. It's such a fun comic book channel to watch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was trying to find a spot for a live stream, and there's just so many people that are doing live content. So I said, maybe a Saturday morning, because it's a good way for me to start my day, and then I can go off and do the things that I normally do on the weekend. So,
and I think you hit it right, because a lot of people, we're just chilling out on a Saturday, recovering from the work week. So it's a perfect time.
Yeah. So you're coaching. How is coaching a girls' high school basketball team going? That's got to be interesting.
Well, actually, it's been quite fabulous. I've coached boys basketball for 20 plus years. Okay. I stepped away for a year, and then the calling came back, and there was an assistant coach position open. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put my name in for that. So I've just been the assistant coach this year, but absolutely loving it. Have a bunch of kids that want to work hard, want to improve, always give us their best. So it's been quite a fabulous season. A little bit of time consuming. I haven't been able to put out the YouTube content that I like to do, but there's a balance in life, and I'm trying to figure that one out right here.
Yes.
But
yeah,
there's some awesome people in this chat right now, like some super members of this community. And, I'm glad that so many good people have found your channel, because we were talking about it. You're a genuine person. You love comic books, and that type of personality just comes out. So it does not surprise me that you got to 500 subs so quickly.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's one of the keys to success, right? Is obviously being, and that's, like I said, Reg's channel was one of the first channels that I had found, and I was like, wow, he seems like a super guy. And then I got to, watch more videos and actually, trade some messages with him on Instagram, and he gave me some early feedback on the Comic Book Community Awards, and I was like, let me reach out to him and see if he'll even respond. And he responded within like 3 minutes. So I could tell right away, this is a guy that's engaged, involved, helpful. And I said, that's what I connect with other channels. And I think that's so important.
Well, you hit it right there in the head. It's just connecting with good people.
Yeah. And I think, obviously we have we're all comic book collectors. So we have that instant interest and connection because of the hobby. So, yeah, it's good.
Absolutely. But last night was our last basketball game of the season, and I have boxes of comic books that have come in the mail that I still need to open up. So I need to re-engage with my own personal hobby, but I think that's something that happens to a lot of people. Our not interest in a hobby, but our activity level in a hobby, it ebbs and it flows. Like sometimes we're on a high where we're very active, and then sometimes we're on a little bit of a low where I haven't read a comic book for a few weeks or even a few months. And so I'm kind of looking forward to re-engaging, watching the Reggie videos, watching your videos and other videos, and not re-sparking, but getting that interest, level up to a high level again.
Yeah, no, it's, personal life stuff, work, family life, those, I mean, for most of us, this is, obviously a hobby, but even the YouTube channel is it's something we do for fun. And so when other priority things happen, this falls to the bottom of the list. So, yeah.
So I have a question for you, Brian. What big books what big achievements in the collection or in the hobby have you been achieving lately?
I haven't really. It's really more trying to read more is really one of my goals this year, because I've been buying a lot of books but not reading them, and so I really want to make sure that I'm reading more to kind of keep up on, because there's obviously a lot of part of the YouTube community is really a lot of conversations or breakdown of the stories, and there's times where I feel kind of left out or unaware because I'm not reading as much. So that's one of the things I'm trying to do this year. As far as like collecting goals or, picking up big grails, money for me right now is a little tight. I have 3 children, that are in college. So it's, buying just the regular, weekly new books. And, if I can here or there, maybe, pick up, Amazing Spider-Man is really my, Spider-Man's my character, and, there's certainly a ton of Amazing Spider-Man key books that I'd like to pick up, but, they're just not, it's not the priority right now with other things going on. So.
Well, you hit it on the head. You have 3 kids in college age. So I think it's hard to figure out what your next meal is, because you got to make sure your kids are fed.
Right.
Yeah. That's a real thing. It's reading though. that's what got us all into this hobby to begin with. Like, we fell in love with these characters. And sometimes we found these characters on Saturday morning cartoons or however we found them, but we ended up falling in love about these characters. And so getting back to reading, you can never go wrong with that, no matter how you look at it, because that's the most fun part about it. Because these books wouldn't mean a whole lot to us if we didn't know what the stories were. So
yeah, and that's my goal. Like when I pick up new books every Wednesday, I'm trying to read as much as I can in the next couple days. And then too, it really kind of, by reading, you can really kind of narrow your focus on what books you really want to purchase. Because there's some books that I purchased and I read and I was like, why? This story doesn't, do it for me. And I stopped, I removed it from the pull list because it was just not a story that interested me.
Yeah. And see, I'll do my reading digitally. So I'll pick up books, from the 40s, or not pick them up, but I'll put them on my iPad right here from the 40s and 50s. And I've been reading a lot of the old Tales of the Crypt and, some other horror novels from the 50s, the pre-Comic Code. And getting that, those old stories, that's fabulous. And sometimes that's all you can do is just figure out whatever you can read and keep that enjoyment going.
Yeah, well, I have the Marvel Unlimited subscription, so definitely one of the other things I'd like to do is go back and start to read the Amazing Spider-Man from issue, from the beginning, because I have not read all of those early issues, probably 1 through 100. I know the stories, but I haven't read those books. So I want to go back and kind of pick it up from the beginning and go through it. And that's, with same thing on an iPad, it makes it really convenient to be able to do that.
It does. And not only that, it's a lot cheaper. Some of these books go into thousands of dollars. And do you really want to be leafing through $1,000 comic book? But actually, that is my goal for 2022 is I've read ASM 1 to 400. Some, I forget what exact issue. But I really haven't read a whole lot since. I've read a handful of issues, storylines, a One More Day storyline, but I want to catch up on my ASM run. So I started with AF15, went to ASM 1, and I'm just trying to catch all the way up to, what are we up to? Almost 900 now?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. A lot of the story, the early storylines or things that have happened tie in. You never know when they're going to tie in, or it resurface. So there's some things like the current run of Spider-Man. It's one of the books I've been reading with Ben Reilly, and so I was out of the hobby when when his storyline, the Clone Wars and things happened. So. Or a Clone Saga. Clone Wars or Star Wars, but Clone Saga.
I know what you meant, though.
But, so I've been reading the current Ben Reilly, so that's prompted me to say, I want to go back and read, the Clone Saga, because I know of the story, I just never read it.
Yeah. The Clone Saga was one of Marvel's greatest storylines that bombed completely.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. It was a struggle to get through the Clone Saga. It was, you have a character you didn't care about, the storyline kept jumping, and it was not my favorite. But to your point, you got to know what happened in the past to know what's going on in the current storyline, because they all tie in. So even though I wasn't a fan of the Clone Saga, that Ben Reilly character can be well done. There's definite promise there. So, it could be better in the future. And that, I hear that's the current ASM, right?
Right. Yeah. So he's in it now, and it kind of seems like they're setting it up for him to be kind of more involved. There's the Ben Reilly, there's like a limited series that's out now, or like a 5-issue run with him. But I think they're really trying to reestablish him in the in the universe again. So, we got somebody else joining us.
All right,
Mr. Mcu, he's already.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
I hope that's a Bloody Mary you're drinking there.
You're starting off early, Remy.
It's a Coke Zero with a little bit of Bacardi in it, so recovery.
Wow.
Nice.
They start early in North Carolina.
This is a first for us. I've watched your channel like for well over a year now. So
I don't think we've been on the stream. No, it's very nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah, same here, bud.
I tell you, when you remodeled the room, I think that was the first exposure that I had to the channel, and I was like, "Oh man, this is awesome!" So it was really cool to watch that whole transition go down, man. That was awesome.
The only problem with me doing this comic book room, I can't redo it. I so enjoyed remodeling this room, but I guess I could redo it again, but I don't know. That's kind of hard on the budget.
Oh, it's very, very well done. It's awesome.
The cabinets that you've got built. We got to. Did you end up hanging the Conan painting?
I'm looking at it right now. I have this room is on a wing of my house, and the wing's kind of like an A-frame, and this is on the the second story. So my walls, they come in, and I have knee walls right here. And then the walls angle. So that Conan, that Frog Boy did for me, the Conan #1 painting, I have that hanging on a knee wall at a nice angle, but it looks really cool. I wish I could just flip the camera around to show you guys, but yeah, that was that's a capstone to this room right now.
Yeah, that was an amazing painting. The reproduction of the cover #1. I mean, that was impressive.
I was so impressed with that I immediately ordered another one. I have a Conan 24 reproduction coming from Frog Boy.
Oh, okay.
But he's so backed up right now. I mean, his work is fabulous. You guys see, I don't know if you're following him on Instagram, but he seems to be kicking out a painting or two every month. And so it's probably going to be about a year before I see that Conan. But that's a good problem for him.
Yeah. He's busy, right? Yeah.
I mean, that's because he's so good.
But there were two other channels that I wanted to mention. We were doing some shout outs before, Matt, before you jumped on. And and they're actually in the live chat. Cole's Comic Claims and Circumstance, Marcus at Circumstance. Both channels, the reason why I wanted to include them, they're great channels, but they also do a ton of shorts and TikToks, little funny videos related to comic book collecting and the hobby. So you definitely need to go check those guys out. I think most of the people that are here probably are aware of their channels, but their links are down below. But you definitely need to go check out because they're just the reason why I connect with their channels is the short little funny videos is it's something different that maybe not everybody's doing. So you definitely need to go check out both Cole's and yeah, that is you, Cole and Marcus over at Circumstance. Really good channels.
That's kind of I think the future of videos as everything's been going anyways, that kind of short video style, you know what I mean? That's kind of taken over a lot of the modern day videos that you're watching. So
yeah, I guess it's what the kids like, right? I'm sure the girls basketball team watches a lot of TikTok. I'm sure, right?
They put me on a TikTok video the other day of me dancing, but TikTok seems to be the thing nowadays.
Yeah, the YouTube is becoming like the Facebook of social media now, right? Is that?
I just realized the hat that Remy is wearing. That is the coolest hat ever.
Oh, thank you.
That's definitely Jason Voorhees. That is great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, originally I was wearing this just for my unboxings, and then somehow I got all mixed up. I don't know. I have a bunch of different hats I wear. This seems to be the rarest one. So when I have Deadpool on, it's for a very special occasion apparently. But I don't realize it. People ask me about hats in the chat, and I try to keep up with it, but I don't know. I don't have a rhyme or reason. It seems like anymore.
I just go different hairstyles.
You wake up, it's like, oh yeah, I got to style it a little bit different today.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't really. The only trick I do is after the winter's over, I'll shave the beard and just have the goatee. That's the only trick that I do.
Oh, you got to keep that till the Stanley Cup playoffs are over.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, then my Rangers are playing well this year, so we could make a run.
They are a tough team. That goalie is phenomenal.
Yeah, Shesterkin. Yeah, I don't know who their goalie scout is, but they've had a string of really good goalies. Mike Richter, Henrik Lundqvist, and now Shesterkin. So, Capitals. Oh, come on.
Capitals. Can't go wrong with Ovechkin. I'm a Penguin fan here, so.
Wow.
Oh, look, we're talking hockey, and the Canadian actual Dracula shows up.
Yeah, I grew up in VA, and Ovechkin. Actually, you know what? I went to his 21st birthday party. Gosh, he didn't even speak English, to be honest with you. I don't think he was here very long before that. But
wow, where in Pennsylvania did you grow
up? At Virginia.
Where's that?
Virginia.
Okay, I thought you said Pennsylvania.
No. It was, yeah. So by default, I like the Capitals. I've been trying to embrace more of the Hurricanes now that I'm in North Carolina, but it's not fully there yet. So
the Hurricanes are playing pretty well this year, though, too. Capitals, they're both been good teams.
Well, I hear about the Hurricanes a lot. So.
Cole, you got to get on that. Get on the Red Wings.
Definitely got to be a Red Wings fan.
Jimmy G stuck at what, 120 subs? All right.
Well, I'm going through after this video, and I'm looking up everybody's channel and subbing everybody up.
That's good, yeah.
Remy, I think I've been subbed to you for a long time, actually.
Yeah, we were climbing pretty good there for a while, and it's funny because I just stopped thinking about it. You know what I mean? And ironically, I think the climb slowly declined after that. I was checking out something, and I had a video. Or I was going through some videos, and I was like, shoot, we celebrated our 500 subscriber mark like 7 months ago. I think we're at like 550. So I just like died off after that. Like we had a huge blowout giveaway, and then after that just died out. And again, that's I don't know, somewhere I stopped digging for a huge subscriber count. And honestly, this was it. Just hanging out with everybody here, and that kind of took over everything else. So it's like I plan my week out, and then I've got, these live streams that I know I'm going to try to hit up, or I've got this one that I'm doing with this person and that person, and that's kind of the fun of it. So
honestly, to me, that's the fun part about it. It's
absolutely.
It's not the sub numbers or anything like that. It's not the views. It's the interaction that I get out of it. People comment or reach out to me on Instagram or whatever. And then just hanging out on a Saturday morning, eating breakfast with Brian. Although I'm not eating, I'm drinking my breakfast.
Yeah, that's it.
So much.
I had breakfast before. But yeah, I mean, and there's so many good live shows now, right? You've got Legion of Comics that does the Friday, hangout. There's a Saturday night one. There's so many, and it's just, people just jump on now. I mean, the live stream is a lot easier than shooting a video, editing, and doing all that. So it really lends to just kind of the hangout.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 live streams that I'm excited about this week. Gary B's having me on the 22nd, and then he has a 10-1-1 video series that he just started.
Yeah, the new series he did.
That's awesome. Is that the one that you're doing?
What's that?
Is that the one that you're doing?
Yeah, for Gary. Awesome. And then on Joe Anachronic Comics channel, we're doing a comic book crowd. It's a show we do once a month. Looking forward to that. Slappin', how are you?
Good. What's going on, guys?
Good morning.
So I jump in here. Good to see y'all.
Hey, you sound phenomenal. Is that like it looks like you're through a phone, but you sound phenomenal. That is great.
I is through a phone. Sitting on the couch, awesome. Watching you guys.
He's not in his basement.
I'm not in my basement. They'll kick me down there in another hour. Get down there. Don't ever come back up.
Well, my wife works on Saturday morning, so I'm able to do this. If not, I'd be, be getting yelled at to go do something.
Yeah, probably me too.
The honey-do list gets long when they're around.
Yes. The never-ending list.
So you guys are saying
this is my first day off work since January 30th. So I told the wife, I'm not doing anything today.
Wow. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to celebrate that. What are you doing
You
here?
do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're saying you're trying to get more reading done. I definitely am trying to get more reading done this year. I got sidetracked, with all this NFT nonsense. Probably, kind of fourth quarter last year. So definitely this year I'm trying to get back to read more. I have my pull list, so I've still been collecting comics, so I got to get into it. But like you were mentioning, I have a subscription to Marvel Unlimited, so I can catch up. That's the way to go for me.
Yeah, I mean, reading on the iPad is very easy. And what I love about it is if you're traveling or you're out and about, with an iPad, you can, it's not like you got to carry a stack of books with you wherever you go.
And, not to, with my age, I mean, I can't see I have to have definitely 100% have to have my glasses to read a comic.
Yeah.
Like I cannot. And then of course with the iPad, you can, and I don't know when they implemented it on Marvel Unlimited, but then there's this way where when you tap it, it will actually zoom into each panel, and then it just moves to each panel within the page. And so obviously the other thing I really enjoy about it is I can actually see a lot of the art more than I had been able to in the past. So yeah, I mean, not that I always read. Well, what I do is it depends on the run, right? Like I like to, because I'll forget. Another thing is I'll read a bunch of books and I'll forget. So like I have to go back and reread them because I can't remember from the month before, like what happened. So I try to at least stack up like 3 to 5 of them and then read the whole arc. But then again, once again, with the iPad, you got it all there. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I found even too, with some of the lettering in some of the books, when I'm reading the physical book, it's difficult to see. So it just because of the style of the lettering, of the dialogue. So I think comic book publishers need to take note that there's a lot of, older people reading their books. So
I can't remember which one it was, but they got a lot of slack. Maybe with one of the X-Men run arcs the last one. And I didn't really know. I mean, I had trouble reading a lot of it, but then I didn't realize it. And then other people were too. So sometimes you're just trying to, push through it, and get, but yeah, they definitely, some of that font are using, it's a little rough.
Yeah.
I turned 40 and then I went from 20/20 vision to bifocals like overnight almost. So I can definitely relate with you guys.
100%. That was me.
Yeah.
Except I was too stupid and I was working a lot. So well, for me, what happened first is I couldn't see at night. Like, I don't know if I really started, I remember we drove somewhere, I can't remember, and I really struggled seeing at night. And I was like, oh, something's wrong here. And that's kind of, the beginning of the end.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I wore contacts for 20 years, and then all of a sudden I couldn't see the computer screen, or my phone was blurry. And so I had to I stopped wearing contacts because I couldn't find the balance between, I really needed more for distance. Things up close where I could see fine. And so the contacts were, it's not like I could take them out and then put them back in when I was done looking at the computer. So now I just glasses for when I drive and things like that. But when I'm looking at a screen, I don't need anything because I'm, my vision is good enough for up close. So I got a stack of contacts in my drawer that that I'm like, I guess I got to just throw them away. I'm not using them. So what else? What does everybody have going on? I know Matt. We talked about you trying to get back into creating some content, but what about Mark and Remy? What do you guys got coming up on your channels? And if you guys don't know, Remy's the one of my favorite things to watch on Remy's channel is with his wife. Let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
When the back and forth with your wife, Remy, it's.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, failed marriage years ago. I don't know why you'd bring it back up. I'm trying to get over that. No, she's slowly taking over the channel, so it's okay.
It seems that she was in the DJ's live chat last night, winning prizes. I mean, yeah.
What's
she's trying to push you out, I think.
That's what it was. She was like, "I know you're going to be on there, so you get to hang out. I'm just going to sit back and try to win some prizes." Can't believe that. I still love that DJ tried to steer that towards me though. Like, oh yeah, she really likes Silver Age Thor a lot. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Yeah, because that was
don't do that.
Like a mystery box, right?
Yeah,
she wanted a mystery box.
She wanted a mystery box. I was like, please do not cater that to me because that won't end good at all.
Get you in more trouble.
Yeah, that's going to be a hashtag rigged I can't deal with. So,
Sleeping, have you been trying to still get NFTs on the drop?
I try, but it's impossible.
Yeah, it seems like I'm like 0 for like 20.
And it's just going to get more impossible. That's not a valid strategy in my mind. Before maybe it was, but now, no, it's impossible because you have. Well, when I started, and you and I kind of almost started at near the beginning. I think they had. I want to say they had 10 to literally 50,000 people going for a drop. And now I think they said their user base, there was an AMA the other day, and their user base is now over 2 million.
Oh, wow.
So on a drop, they're not going to get 2 million, but they might get 500,000 people going for it. And there's only 30,000 comics and, just do the math there.
Right.
It's just, people complain about bots and other things, which I think is valid. Because I do think a lot of people have automated things, but so the bots are going to take up, let's just pretend, 5,000 of it, and then there's 25,000 for the rest of the normal humans. It's just simple. And then, at 20 to 40,000 new users a day, it's just, it's just math, man. It's just math.
Yeah, yeah.
So in order to do it, I think you're going to have to come up with different tactics, like which I try and cover on my channel. How are you going to play the secondary market to get some of these things? And it's interesting. It's such a wacko. It's just a wacko deal because it's so new and we don't know where it's going to go. And is it all going to blow up or is it going to pick up more steam? We don't know. It's just kind of fun for me I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. That's why I like being able to pick up. And I've only bought comic books, being able to pick up comic books, NFT comic books on the drop because it was, it's inexpensive. It's like purchasing a new book at your LCS. But now that you can't, and some of the prices fluctuate, very quickly. So you really got to kind of now watch it and see if you can pick up a book, inexpensively. Like I picked up Amazing Spider-Man #1 for like $45, and now it's at like the base price is around like $150.
Right.
So,
which is,
I felt like that was a great deal.
It is.
Even
I think
paying
it's probably going to go to $1,000. I think it's going to go to I think ASM 1's going to $1,000. The common, you just got to hang on for a little bit, and it's just because, once again, it's just numbers. When you have, they said they'll probably have, which is crazy, but maybe. Close to 10 million people by the end of the year on the app.
Wow.
And it's, not people from the United States, a lot, although the majority is right now. But, in the last AMA, the president said, or the CEO said, only 10% of the users are from Asia. So once they get that going, it's just so much growth and so many people with ridiculous amounts of money. And not even that ridiculous. I mean, but enough money that they're gonna take note. Mm-hmm. I think it's gonna be. It's just a different game. It's like so weird. I still don't even understand.
Yeah.
I lucked out and I was able to get a Fantastic Four one and an ASM one for less than a cup of coffee, honestly. One I paid $3 for, and the other was $4. But they seem to be doing quite well right now.
It's, you know, it's this weird combination of, because in my opinion, 98% of the people buying things are not comic book collectors like we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they are, so they initially go in and they're just like, oh, Fantastic Four, this book in real life is worth a bunch of money. I'm going to invest some. And then they slowly start to really, I don't know how, I might have 10 people message me a day saying that I'm so excited. I just went to my local comic book store. I bought some comics for the first time. How do I set up a pull list? What is CGC? Like, it is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Exciting. And I know that a lot of people don't like NFTs from the comic book side, but I actually think it's going to reinvigorate potentially. Like, I had a crazy call with My Comic Shop. So I've been pre-ordering my books from mycomicshop.com for like years. And they called me yesterday, actually, because my credit card expired, because I had it on file, finally expired. And they're like, you got to give us a new credit card. So I was like, oh, sorry about that.
That happens to me every 4 years.
Yeah. And I didn't even know they knew who I was, but then they told me they knew who I was. And I was like, oh, wow. Thank you. And then I've been mentioning on my channel for like years, And they had said that they had seen not a big, but they, it's interesting that I think perhaps people now are maybe buying some more physical books. And I mean, anytime people are buying comics and excited about comics and excited about collecting comics, I feel like I'm doing it right.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing for the hobby. If you have non-collectors that, however they're finding their way through, it sounds like a lot through NFTs now are going and collecting the physical.
Well, and it's just the beginning, right? So, but they did Thanos 13, first Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the VV world thinks that's the first Thanos. They don't, they don't even know. So then they went and they bought it. They bought some of these at, whatever. But the key is that book is a first run of Donny Cates, and it goes on. And so then I'm telling you should read that run. Mm-hmm. It's 5 books. That Thanos wins is a great run. And then you should go read Silver Surfer Black. And then you should go read his Venom run. And a lot of them have. And they're buying books. So I'm excited for them. And they're loving it.
That's great for the market.
That's what it's all about, right? That's what it's all about.
I actually, I hate to go against the panel. I kind of disagree, though. I don't think anybody new should get in this hobby. You don't want to invest in these things. Don't buy them. Seriously, terrible investment. You're not interested in collecting them. So if you see a deal on something, just hit up Mcu Studios on IG, and I'll tell you whether or not it's a good pick or not. Probably not, though.
I want everyone out of the hobby until I get all of the keys that I want.
Right.
And then I want everyone to flood.
You don't want to buy those books. Seriously, leave them alone.
The other thing is if you do own some big books, like Matt, I can see some big books behind you. They're going to put those books like, ASM 300 is going to come to VV.
Yeah.
And then these guys, the numbers are just bonkers in crypto. Like they'll drop, you've seen it. They'll drop 12K gems. They'll drop, 3 ETH on things that are just bonkers. And then, so they have this money and they'll, move it over into the physical world. It changes their perception of anything. So a $500 book in crypto world is like nothing. So I would tell them, you could go get that book and maybe Thanos 13 and a 9.8. It might be, $300-$500. I'm not sure. You got to be careful. It's going to be a little expensive. And they're like, wait, I can get 9.8 for $300? I'll go buy one right now. It's just like the numbers, the money is just, it's just different, right?
It's monopoly money. It's not real.
So, it's real because they must have moved it into normal cash to go to eBay to buy that book. Because then they send me pictures of it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I hope it doesn't drive
people
drive prices up for your average collector.
Yeah, no, because I tell people, for me, when I'm buying a comic book over $100, that's big bucks. Like I better know what I'm doing there.
Yeah.
And these, for a lot of the people in the VV world, $100. It's just because I don't really understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting, at least a message or a request a day on Instagram from somebody wanting to sell me an NFT or follow them, or, it's just random, messages about, Bitcoin and NFTs and things like that.
Yeah, I get about 3 to 4 messages a week telling me they have some sort of new NFT project and they want me to promote it in my videos.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I don't understand most of it. And I'm like, you do know that like my channel's like 90% comics, right? So like, how can I promote your thing that's, a project NFT about whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure that there's something there, but I don't understand it, so I don't really get involved with it.
Yeah, it's just amazing. You see the amount of activity now. Everybody thinks they can sell an NFT for a ton of money. But the one thing about Vivi is they have such the licensing between movies and Disney and Marvel, and just the licensing is really the key for their success.
Yeah, and Disney has been the one that's really pushed them. I feel like all the the and I didn't really know a lot about Disney until Vivi, but the Disney fandom is equal, if not greater than the comic fandom. People love Disney and they collect these little collectibles, and I didn't, I mean, maybe you guys knew, but I didn't know that people bought, like, they live near the park and then they buy these annual passes and then they go to the park like 3 times a week or more.
Yeah, no, there's some Disney fanatics. I mean, you've seen it from I've seen it a few times, like shows documenting people with their collections where everything in their house, bowls, plates, cups, just clothing is just all Disney related.
And then it's worldwide. So you have some people, wherever it might be, Europe, Asia, etc., that are Disney fanatics. And so yeah, that has really pushed them to another level. It's yeah, that's the one thing I've learned is do not underestimate Disney. Not that I was underestimating them, but when they came out with their NFTs and other stuff, I was like, oh, that's cool. It's Mickey Mouse. There's nothing wrong with Mickey Mouse. I like Mickey Mouse. Oh no. Mickey Mouse is just like they underestimate Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a different game. Spider-Man is a different monster, and so I think they might have a renewed respect for that brand.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at the latest film, right? Last time I checked, it was close to, I think, $2 billion in sales, ticket sales.
Yeah, that's just in the middle of our crazy pandemic or whatever. I think it's
exactly
without the pandemic, that movie's probably bonkers, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that still won't go back to,
Oh, I know a bunch of people, that won't go to.
Now, my wife is one of them. She's like, she doesn't want to go.
Yeah,
and it hasn't opened up in China yet either. So that's another thing that's keeping the numbers down.
It's bonkers. I don't know what's going to happen, but exciting, and they always say superhero movies are dead, but I guess maybe if you put 3 Spider-Men in it, maybe they're not dead.
That's right.
They're dead till the new one comes out.
Yeah.
Well, and right, we haven't seen Miles yet, right? I mean, they still got a ton of room to grow, and we haven't even seen so many good Spider-Man villains that we haven't seen yet. So
and I do think that I'm not a fan of the current Venom movies. So, and I think that obviously they're going to bring him into the MCU now. So are they going to get Tom Hardy to do it? Is it going to be the same? Is it going to be different? I get the feeling they might do it a little bit different in the MCU. And so hopefully I can get on board maybe more with the newer version of Venom in the MCU.
Yeah, it was watchable, but it just wasn't a fantastic movie. Or both of them, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen the second one yet. Just, I know enough about the storyline and the post-credit scene and things like that. But, the first one was okay. It wasn't the level of, MCU type movies. But it was like, it was okay.
You don't need to worry about it, Brian.
For me, the problem is I'm such a huge Venom fan, and so since it's one of my favorite characters, and then I didn't see the second one. I read a review and it said something like, if you didn't like the first one, you're definitely, the second one's basically the same thing. Yeah, so we'll see. I just hope that they can, I don't know. Once again, when you see it done right, it's done right. But when you see it, it's nuance, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting if they follow, and I think they will, the latest Venom run. The one, I don't know if you guys have run. Well, the latest one is just coming out now, but I mean the last one was Kate's 1 through 35, because I think there's so many great story elements in that one. And really, it's about the relationship between Eddie Brock and his son Dylan at the heart of it, which I think is great. Like, what a great. And they could put great stories around that. They won't match. They won't match it exactly to the comic book. But I think that seed is there, and they could make it grow, and it could be very different, because that is actually something that has not been done in the MCU or in any of them. Is really showing a father-son relationship, which I think could be just insane.
No, I
think the closest thing we had to it was Iron Man kind of mentoring Spider-Man.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right. So.
But yeah, the Venom series definitely set the seed for just so many different storylines that come out of that. I completely agree on that.
And so, we'll see. I do think that they'll figure it out. And they look, every time one of these movies blows, I always think to myself, they can go one or two directions with it when these movies kind of, just explode for billions of dollars. They can think of, oh my God, these movies are making billions of dollars, so let's crank out one as fast as we can and just make more money. Or they can go the other route, which is, okay, wow, this is something here we have to value, and let's
write a good story with it.
Yes, let's take our time. Let's spend the money when we need, we can spend some money now. We don't just have to. I think, and I don't know if this is true, maybe you guys can verify, but I thought I heard that the deal with Sony between Marvel was Sony has to produce a Spider-Man movie every year. And that's why they started to really struggle, because they're just cranking them out with no. Is that true? Do you know if that's a true statement?
It was every so often. I don't think it was every year.
Okay.
Maybe it was every 3 or whatever. But
and so now
ASM, the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I fell asleep in a movie theater because I wanted to like them. They just were boring.
I mean, now, once again, with the MCU leading the way, they're good to go, because, Into the Spider-Verse counts as one of these Spider-Man movies. So they could have that come out 1 year. They could have Kraven the Hunter come out another year. They could have Morbius come out another year. So I think that now, of course, MCU is insane. They, do 4 movies a year, which, I mean, they've been able to do it for year after year. But back in the day, I remember when they said they were going to start with that cadence, and I was like, what? You're going to create 4 movies a year? That seems mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. Every year for 5 years. Wow.
I mean, and now, of course, it's even more, right? Because they're producing 4 movies a year and probably 3 or 4 shows a year, which are basically movies.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, but they got to run with it as fast as they can. That's the thing, is they want to capitalize on that, just in case. Like,
I honestly wish they'd do less, and I wasn't as big a fan of the Hawkeye. We'll see about Moon Knight.
Moon Knight looks pretty good. I mean, at least from the trailer, it looks interesting.
I don't know
enjoyed
anything
the
about Moon Knight.
MCU
I haven't read.
shows so
Actually, that's
far.
not true. I read the first 3 of the most recent Moon Knight run, and I did like it. And they did a good job of kind of like reintroducing the character, because I don't know anything about Moon Knight.
Same here. Yep.
Yeah, the current Moon Knight run, I've read. I've been up to date on it, and it's really good. And it was part of the reason why I started reading it, because I wanted to kind of know the character a little bit more for the show.
Yeah, the only Moon Knight I've ever read has been in the current run right now. And it's a good read so far. I mean, I'm trying to figure things out as I'm reading it, but it's a good read.
I like the art in it.
Yeah,
there's a couple covers on that issue #1 that are absolutely fantastic.
I have the Delato one. I'm a big Delato fan. The Delato cover for the on issue 1 was great.
Yeah. I'm not sure which ones I have. I have them here, but
yeah, there's been a number of good variant covers for the Moon Knight series. So
there's just some characters that lend themselves to, like, I don't know. I just, like Venom obviously is one that just lots of different artists can have their take on it, and they're all pretty awesome. And I think Moon Knight seems to be another one of those characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's part of it. It's pretty, his costume is pretty simple. It's, a white, but I think it's the cape and the wrap and the way that, that an artist can, make that interesting. So, yeah, I was surprised that, after the Book of Boba Fett, that Disney didn't have another show kind of lined up, because I really kind of thought they were trying to go for like a show almost every Wednesday. But now it looks like
how'd you guys like Book of Boba Fett?
Loved it.
I thought it was good. I mean, there's parts of it. The one thing I didn't like was that they had the first 3 episodes were kind of a setup or, backstory, and then it never really paid off. And then like obviously the Mandalorian 2 episodes were really good because, it tied in Luke and I think the finale was okay. So overall it was good, but they definitely wasn't as consistent as, say, the Mandalorian, storyline.
The writing left a lot to be desired. I didn't mind the first episodes where it was setting it up, but you're right. They never truly finished that. The speeder bike chase was so slow,
Yeah.
so boring. That was horrible. But overall, I really enjoyed the series. I'm hoping if they have a season 2 that they kind of finish up that storyline of how he takes over for the Jabba the Hutt palace and all that. But we'll see. But
and that was the one thing I
could
thought
have been
was
improved.
The one thing I really thought was weird was the biker gang, right? The young. It wasn't so much the gang itself. It was the fact that their speeder bikes were so brightly colored, and everything else in the whole planet was like, dusty and desert. And then you had these neon speeder bikes. I'm like, nobody looked at this and said, this is out of place.
And they had laser Dillinger guns. Okay, everyone else has these big giant cannons, and they're like, pew pew.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the show. Sadly, I must disagree with you guys. There's parts of it, right, that were good. And I actually think that the actors were good. It just didn't come together for me, and I struggled. The 2 Mandalorian show episodes I really liked, but the other ones I just struggled with a lot. And, the biker, it just all felt, I guess I always have too high expectations for Star Wars.
Yeah.
I always tell people, like, the bar for me, which maybe it's just unattainable, but the bar for me is Empire Strikes Back. So
thank you.
I wish, and such an awesome movie. You feel, there's so many great things about that movie. So I always am like, can they beat Empire Strikes Back or be at that level? And obviously I'm let down almost every time. But then I think about the MCU, like I think about now, my favorite MCU movie, man, it changes by the day. But, there's a lot of great ones. Winter Soldier's up there. Infinity War is up there. And so, like, you think about Winter Soldier, and I'm like, okay, this is a great movie. What would it take? I would hope they could top that. And then you take like a Ragnarok, which I don't think is a better movie than Winter Soldier, but it definitely is a pretty damn good movie.
It's so fast paced and fun.
And it's a fun movie. And so, and then I think about like Infinity War, which I think is so awesome. And Endgame is obviously good too. So it can be done, it's just, they have not been able to do it in Star Wars. At least, The Mandalorian season 2 is pretty good.
I was going to say, Mandalorian, especially season 2, that's the best Star Wars since Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, and you're right.
The prequel movies, when they came out, I really didn't like them.
No.
You go back and watch them now, they're a little bit better because the storyline, you start to understand it. But, I liked Mandalorian season 2 better than any of the sequels, any of the prequels.
The thing about the episode 1, 2, and 3 is the story is actually unbelievable and how it connects.
I agree.
4, 5, and 6.
But
the characters are
whenever
great.
they came
out,
out,
the execution of it is so poor.
Yeah, when 1, 2, and 3 came out, you didn't fully understand or grasp what you were even watching. I had no idea who Count Dooku was. He was a robot not Dooku, Grievous. He was a robot who coughed, and I couldn't figure out why this robot's coughing because I wasn't reading those comic books and knew what the story was. And I don't feel that they really told you who these characters were in the movies. It was only after watching the Clone Wars and other things afterwards that I go back and watch these movies. I have this filler information that makes it all make sense that I didn't have whenever those movies were in the theater.
And really, if you watch the Clone Wars, although the cartoon drags on, there's too many episodes. I think it should be half the episodes. But if you watch Rebels, for example, Rebels, in my mind, as a 4-season set, is also some of the best Star Wars out there. I don't know if you've seen that at all. And it gives me hope of what could be. And the Rebels is significant in my mind because it was the first sustained show, because it was before Mandalorian, where they introduced brand new characters into the universe and without the mythology behind Skywalker or anything, and they were rarely successful with it. So it showed me that it could be done. Now, obviously, we saw that again with The Mandalorian. You're introducing brand new characters into that world without the Skywalker theme behind it. And really, the Mandalorian thing is, until the last part, but really had no Jedis in it. So no Jedis and no Skywalker theme, and you had an incredible show. So the Mandalorian showed it can be done.
Yeah. Well, and I think with the latest 3 movies, they missed the fact that, so the Luke Skywalker after Jedi, which we're seeing in The Mandalorian and in Book of Boba Fett, that's the Luke Skywalker I wanted to see. I wanted to see him as a full Jedi master with his, mastering the Force and, going and just kicking kicking people's butts. And we never got that. We got we fast forward to this cranky old man Jedi in the latest 3 films. And obviously there were events that led up to that with Kylo Ren and everything, but we didn't get that. And I would much rather would have had that storyline than what we actually got.
And then, the Heir to the Empire, the Timothy Zahn run. I don't know if you read those 3 books. That was it. They should have made those 3 movies. And maybe they will, maybe they won't, etc. Maybe I think we're going to get parts of it. And there are remnants of it because the clone in that 3-book run, there's a clone of the Emperor, and we got to see that kind of in the last Star Wars movie. So they took elements of that movie of that 3-book run and put them in, kind of sprinkled them in. So maybe they kind of attempted to do that, but that's why I was so let down by the Boba Fett finale, is because it opens with I think it opens with the X-wing flying to Tatooine, and I thought Luke Skywalker was in that X-wing. So then I was thinking that the finale of Boba Fett was going to be the Mandalorian, Boba Fett, and Luke Skywalker kicking butt, and I was like, oh my god, this is going to be the best episode ever.
the Skywalker they put in the sequel movies, he was a creepy, weird old man. Like, had nothing. It was not Luke Skywalker, this optimist realist who was, just trying to do good. Like, they made him creepy is the best word I can think of.
It was the green milk he was drinking or whatever that was.
Yeah, it's weird, man. They definitely
just do away with those 3 movies.
They do. They
never
really
happened.
need to. And I feel bad because it's the similar. Okay, I'm gonna get into more nonsense here, but it's similar to DC. I think DC has the right actors. I think Cavill is great. I think Gal Gadot is great. I think they have the right actors in those spots, which is, I think, one of the hardest thing to do is cast the actors correctly, right? So they have the Jason Momoa is Aquaman. I think they have the actors. They just don't have the stories and they just don't, you know what I mean? And the same thing with the 3 last Star Wars movies. I like the actors. I think Daisy Ridley's good. I think, the guy who played Kylo Ren is great. I mean, I think they have really good actors. They they don't have the story. It just
the story was what it was even Poe Dameron, the character, the actors were right. I'm surprised that they had switched directors, between 1 and 2, and there was no consistency. It was just kind of like, let's make some Star Wars movies and we'll throw something together. And
it's that was, that's what it's the most, in my opinion, the most important IP, and what a disaster! Like, my, I can't imagine.
You mean you don't like when they switch up directors midway through a story?
Well, apparently, actually, the funny thing is
that doesn't work,
right? Marvel does it quite effectively, but they have that Kevin Feige guy who's like the mastermind. And he figures it out for 10 years at a time.
You need somebody kind of overseeing it.
Yeah.
If you're going to make three new movies, you need to have some consistency. I think who was the second director of the new trilogy? He kind of wanted to put his own spin on it, and it wasn't consistent with the vision of the first movie. So I think that's where they really missed.
I don't know if you ever watched this. Okay, so I remember when Disney bought Lucasfilm. And then they announced they were going to do new movies, and everybody was excited. And then they got the guy who did who wrote Toy Story 3, who was like an Academy Award winner for his screenplay. And so I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. So then there was, and you can find it still. His name is like Arndt. His last name is like Arndt or something like that. So then you can find this. It's like an hour where it's an interview with him that he talks about how he puts together a screenplay. And it's like crazy. He talks about how it has to be, every time you write it, it has to be your best. So he polishes it for like a year before he ever even shows it to people and all this other stuff. Okay. And so after I watched that video, I was like, oh my God, they picked the exact right guy to do the screenplay for Star Wars. And he did. He apparently worked on it. But because he wasn't fast enough, and then they quickly wanted to get everything put together, and then they hired J.J. Abrams, and then he threw out that guy's screenplay, and then he brought his own thing, and they wrote it in a month, and then they produced it. And then we got Force Awakens. It was obviously the disaster that we saw. So you wonder, what that guy wrote and was continuing to polish it. But it just sounded like the way to go. I'm going to work on this screenplay for a year and polish it every single day till it's perfect, versus I'm going to make it in a month and then shoot it.
Yeah.
Listen, you had me at Toy Story 3 because the ending of that was Niagara Falls every time.
Yeah, so. No, that's the guy they had writing the new Star Wars trilogy, 7, 8, and 9. Mm-hmm. I want to say his name is like Michael Arndt or something like that. You can look up on YouTube.
I'll have to look that up.
There's it's like an interview with him. This is after he won. I think it's after he won maybe the screenplay for Little Miss Sunshine. I think he did Little Miss Sunshine as well, which is a great movie if you ever watch it. Fun movie. But anyways, you listen to him and then you're like, oh my God, this is the guy. Yeah. And then
comes down to some sort of crazy deadline. It sounds exactly like what would have happened.
Yeah, right.
And then,
they just repeated that process again and again. they switched gears, and then they brought on, I can't remember the second
Johnson.
director.
I think Mike mentioned
Ryan
Johnson. Yeah.
Who's a good director.
Right.
And then, he produced that movie Under the Gun. And then of course they switched the director again 3 times or whatever. And then they brought J.J. Abrams back the last second. He rewrote, not a way to approach, the most important franchise in history or whatever.
Right. It still made a ton of money, but
Yeah, it did. But hey guys, I'm gonna have to sign off here this morning, but
yeah, I
just want to compliment Sleppen. You have an amazing amount of knowledge, buddy. It's fun to just listen to you talk comics and movies and NFTs. So thank you for educating us. Yeah. Remy, you are such an awesome dude. Love your channel. It's an honor to finally be on here.
Absolutely.
And Brian, thank you for everything you do to keep this community informed and everything you do for us. But hey guys, I'm just signing off. So everyone have a great day.
I got to run too, Brian. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Yeah. I'm going to wrap up soon too, but thanks for coming on.
If I'm the guy that stays too long at the party,
I'm usually that guy.
I can't be that guy. I'll show myself out, sir. Thank you again. It was an awesome show. I appreciate it.
Thanks for stopping on, Remy.
I'll see you next time. Y'all take it easy in the chat.
All right. But yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I actually get to the post office today before it closes. But hey, I just wanted to mention again, Monday we have the 500 subscriber giveaway. If you want to enter, link is down below. And then definitely go check out the 3 channels I mentioned. Angelo the Comic Guy, who's Jerry the Jitterbug's nephew. And if you listen to him, you swear it's a younger Jerry. So definitely go check out his channel. And then Cole was here earlier. You definitely need to go check out his channel. And I know Marcus is still in the chat, Surcam Stances. Definitely go check out his channel. Just some great videos, some short videos, some TikTok stuff. His channel is really great. So you definitely need to go check out his channel. But I appreciate everybody coming on this morning, and to Matt and to Mark and to Remy for jumping in. It was great. Sif and all the people in the chat, thanks for stopping in. You got Marcus, you got Evil, you got Mike, you got everybody who came out this morning. I do appreciate you guys coming out and watching the show. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys again Monday night during my live stream. Give some prizes away. So thanks for stopping in, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'm just looking, and I forgot to play this when I did the shout outs. Get this channel a sub. So I'm sorry, but there you go. You got it. You got it again. But thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you